Loving his workout. The Men of the Double Down Fitness Club, Book 1. By Bree Weeks. Lone Oak Publishing, LLC. Copyright 2020 by Bree Weeks. All rights reserved. To RB, I love you. Chapter 1. Evie. I look at my boss's face and glance up at the clock on the wall behind him to see it's 9:57 a.m. Oh crap, I have only 3 minutes. I'm glad Dan is carving time out of his schedule to help orient me to his firm since I'm new here, but this meeting seems longer than the others. If I don't get out of his office right now, I'm going to miss the show. The clock ticks forward. 2 minutes. Finally, Dan dismisses me, and I quickly make my way out of his office to the large, sun-filled break room. Did I miss anything? I ask the man and 2 women already lined up at the window. My best friend and coworker, Janie, turns to me. Just in time, Evie. I saved you a spot. She scoots over, giving me space to squeeze in next to her. At 10 o'clock on the dot, I take a deep breath of anticipation and hope I won't be disappointed today. Brad, another of my coworkers, says, "Here they come." We all giggle like school children and focus our attention on the street corner. 5 of the most gorgeous men I've ever seen appear, and everyone goes silent. They're tall, muscle-bound, and incredibly sexy. But the one I came to see is bringing up the rear, leading his large black dog, who's as muscular as his owner, on a leash. Van Michaels. With his tight shirt and low-riding sweatpants, I can't take my eyes off him. Gazing at his short dark hair and biceps as big as my thighs makes me think someone has turned up the heat in the office. Why do they all show up at the same time every day? Brad wonders aloud. I hear they're like a motorcycle club, only they meet at the gym instead, Janie explains. Mrs. Parrish hushes us. Quiet, all of you. They're almost there and you're distracting me. Janie and I grin at each other, trying not to laugh at the cantankerous older woman. The gang of gorgeousness reaches the door of Double Down Fitness Club, which is across the street from my office. Van hesitates before entering the building as if he knows we're watching. He slowly turns his head and looks directly at the window where we're standing. The blinds are open, but surely he can't see us from that distance. His eyes find mine, and I detect the hint of a smile on his lips. I jump away from the window, worried he saw us. Saw me? Oh no. Janie exclaims, Evie? He was looking right at you. He's got the hots for you. Yeah, right. He was only looking at me because I'm the biggest one here. It's true. Except for Janie, everyone else in the room is thin, underweight even. My curves mean I'm bigger than they are. Hell, even my curves have curves, and I'm proud of them. Janie snickers as she looks down at her huge baby bump. You can say that all you want, but you're not the largest one here, and we all saw him smile at you. Your workout this afternoon will be quite interesting. Oh no. I can't go today. Not after he caught us looking at him. It would be way too embarrassing. My face flushes. Oh Evie, you have to go, Brad whines. You're the only single person here, so you can flirt with them and get away with it. Flirt with Van. Flirt with all of them. Let us live vicariously through you. Please. We don't hear our boss enter the break room above our laughter, but Janie spots him and says, Hi Dad. We were just finishing our break. Yes, I see you finished gawking at our neighbors again. And you, Janie, about to have my grandchild? Don't you all have more important things to do? I'm fortunate Dan has a sense of humor. After all, I've only been with the accounting firm for a couple of weeks. I moved to the tiny town of Dalton, Tennessee, because Janie, my college roommate, is going on maternity leave soon. After she returns, her dad is retiring, so they needed someone to take care of her clients and help with the transition to her leadership after the baby's birth. We moved to exit the break room as quickly and quietly as possible, but Dan stops me at the doorway. Evie, I got a call from a new client who specifically asked for you. Oh. Janie says. I didn't think people would ask for Evie so soon. Few people know she's here yet. Me either, I say, confused. Who's the client? From Dan's smug expression, I can tell he is reveling in what he's about to say. Oh, you're all very familiar with this client. In fact, you're too familiar with them if you ask me. The client is Double Down Fitness Club. Evie, you have an appointment with the owner, Vin Michaels, and his brother Van this afternoon at 3 o'clock. My jaw drops and Janie squeals in delight. I hope you don't treat all your new employees this way. Throwing me to the wolves like this. Janie, you have to come with me. Please. Sorry, chickadee, you're on your own. I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon, remember? Besides, you're already a member of the gym, right? It will be like going there to work out. I am a member, yes, but I've only been 3 times. I've met none of those guys. Those big, beautiful guys. The hot guy caravan, you mean? Brad jokes. I've been a member of the gym since they opened last year, and I've met none of them either, but not for lack of trying. The only one who talks to people is Vin, and I suppose that's because he's the owner. He has to be friendly to the members. The rest of them say nothing, and they never smile. Until I saw your doggy boy smile at you today, Evie, I thought they didn't know how. I shake my head, knowing I'll never get out of this. It's barely after 10 o'clock in the morning, which means I have 5 hours to calm my nerves. I'm doomed.
Chapter 2. Van. I'm lost in a fantasy of Evie when something whirls past my head. Hey, little brother. Are you dreaming about that little red-headed bean counter again? Vin goads as I pick up the tennis ball he threw at me. Her name is Evie, and I'll thank you for staying out of my head and out of my fantasies. And stop throwing stuff around in here. I'm trying to keep the place looking decent, and you're not helping. You need to act like you're the owner, not some jock. I throw the tennis ball at his head, but he ducks just in time. Axel, one of the club members, says, "It's obvious that the girl is into you, dude. I see her watching from her office every day and looking around for you when she's here. Why don't you take that fine self of hers to your office and—" That's enough, I interrupt. Don't talk about her that way. She's not some ordinary girl. She's a goddess. And I vow one day, if she allows it, I'll show that goddess exactly what she means to me. Then Axel and Tommy stare at me like I have 2 heads. Finally, Vin shakes his head with a wry grin. All right, boys, let's leave Van alone. He can finish cleaning up this place before our meeting. Goddess Evie should be here in a few minutes. Vin and the rest of the guys retreat to the back of the gym, and I'm happy to be left alone with my thoughts and my dog. Come on, Blitzen. Let's go for a walk before Evie gets here. I don't want to miss a minute with her because I have to take you outside. He jumps on me as I put the leash on his collar, happily licking my face in anticipation. 30 minutes later, she's sitting close enough for me to smell her shampoo, and it's making me crazy. She fidgets nervously with her hands, and it's so endearing that it only makes me want her more. Vin sits at his desk talking finances with her, and I keep my eyes on her and the door. On her for obvious reasons, and on the door so I can stop anyone who may try to interrupt our meeting or touch her without permission. Not even shaking her hand. I made it perfectly clear to the rest of the guys that the first one to touch her would be the first one down. I can't be too careful since I haven't officially claimed her. What do you think, Van? Can Miss Evans help you understand her services better or answer any questions for you? Vin gives me a knowing smirk, aware I haven't been paying any attention to their conversation. All I can say is, I'm good. Honestly, I'm not good. I don't think I'll ever be good again, unless she shows an interest in me, too. My eyes linger on her chest a moment too long, and she catches me staring. Her face reddens, and she glances back at Vin. Well, if my brother is satisfied, Vin smiles at me, then so am I, Miss Evans. Please call me Evie. It's been a pleasure meeting you both, and I look forward to working with you. I'll pop over once a week to drop off the work I've completed, and to pick up anything you may have for me. Normally, I'd email it, but since we're so close, it's easy to meet in person. If that's all right with you, of course. Yes, I answer a little too quickly, wincing slightly when I realize she was talking to Vin and not me. As he's walking her out of his office, he leans over to me and whispers, "Smooth, brother." That wasn't awkward at all. I resist the urge to punch him, not wanting to draw any more attention to myself. I walk around for a few minutes, hoping to get my mind off of her, but when I make the mistake of looking out the window and see her swaying across the street to her office, I just can't stop thinking about her. What do you think? Vin asks as he comes to stand beside me, and we both admire the view. I think I'm in love. I joke. I know that, dummy. I mean, about her doing our accounting. You are hot for this girl, I know that. Is that why we're hiring her, or do we genuinely need to hire someone to take care of the finances? I twist my head in surprise. I thought you only asked me to the meeting so I could be near Evie. You don't normally ask for my advice on running the business. Well, maybe that's a mistake. I'd like you to play a larger role in running this place. If that's something you'd be interested in. Vin raises his eyebrows in question. That would be great if you trusted me enough. You know, I've always focused more on our other mission than the gym itself. You're my kid brother, stupid. Of course I trust you. He winds up to throw another tennis ball at my head, but I jump out of the way. Still too fast for you, bro. To answer your question, yes. I think you've done a great job, but if we're going to expand this place, we'll need to make sure we're using our funds efficiently and responsibly. It makes sense to have a professional taking care of the finances. All right then, little brother. Done. She's hired. Better let the rest of the club know we're meeting tonight, so we can make plans for our next mission. On it. I immediately head to my office to shoot off an email.
Chapter 3. Evie. Afternoons at the office are typically quiet, since most everyone leaves early to be with their kids after school. Some coach sports or lead scouting events while others simply work from home. I like that Dan has created a flexible workplace. It's refreshing. Usually it's Janie and me here at this time, but since she's at the doctor, I have the whole place to myself and I'm relieved. I need some privacy after meeting with the Michaels brothers. Vin was pleasant and professional, but Van's presence in the meeting made me excited. Something about his quiet broodiness makes me want to jump inside him and find out what makes him tick. I close my eyes and imagine he's at the door to my office, his powerful arms outstretched to hold me. I could lose myself in that fantasy. I'm on the verge of doing just that when I hear a noise outside the building, breaking my concentration. I jump up and straighten my clothes. Hello? I call out. Is anybody there? I'm met with silence. Maybe I got too caught up in the moment, and my mind is playing tricks on me. I leave my office to look around. In the reception area, I find an envelope on the floor and realize someone must have slipped it under the door. Clients often do that if they're dropping something off and don't need to meet with anyone. I pick up the envelope and toss it on Mrs. Parrish's desk, marveling at how neat she keeps her area. As the receptionist for an accounting firm, her job is to make people feel welcome. I suppose having an inviting space is an important part of that. Another is to have a cheery personality, a quality Mrs. Parrish does not have. Although, I guess she must be friendlier to clients than the staff because all the clients love her. I scold myself as I think about how close I came to being caught daydreaming in the office. A jolt of fear runs through me. If I'd been caught, I would have gotten fired, making it the shortest time I've ever spent at a job. I'm sick to my stomach thinking about it, especially considering how disappointed Janie would be. All right, Evie, I say aloud, no more of that stuff in the office. I turn toward the hall to return to my desk, still muttering to myself. Save your fantasies and daydreams about the hot guy across the street for a more appropriate place like home. Ahem, Miss Evans, I hear from behind me. Evie? The sound of Van's husky voice makes me freeze. I'm sorry to come over unannounced. I hope I didn't startle you. I turn my head to find him staring at me. Or actually, at my rear. My heart starts back up again, racing away in my chest. Mr. Michaels. I'm sorry, you startled me a bit. I didn't know anyone was here. Give me a second to catch my breath. I hope he didn't hear me talking to myself. Did I say I was fantasizing about him? I take a seat in the reception area and look over at him. He's standing by the door like he's guarding the place. Or guarding me. What can I do for you, Mr. Michaels? Call me Van. Again, I'm sorry I startled you. I was leaving the gym and saw someone suspicious putting something under the front door of your office. I also noticed yours was the only car in the parking lot, so I wanted to check on you. How does he know my car? Has he been watching me the way I've watched him? I appreciate the concern, but it was something from a client. Are you sure? The guy didn't look like any client of yours, Van explains, looking around outside. His eyes dart back and forth between the parking lot and my chest. Well, I didn't look at the envelope, but clients put stuff under the door all the time. I put it on our receptionist's desk. She opens all the mail and packages we receive. I'm having a hard time looking him in the eyes, too. My gaze wanders all over him. Van begins to say something but stops, shaking his head. What? What is it you're not saying, Van? I don't want to alarm you, but I thought I recognized the person who dropped that off. And I don't think it has anything to do with your clients. Do you mind if I see what's in the envelope? The concerned look on his face tells me this is serious. Let me open it. If it's from a client, I can't allow you to see it. I grab the envelope off Mrs. Parrish's desk and rip it open to find a flash drive. Let me go to my computer and see what's on this thing. He follows me down the hall to my office. He continues looking around as though he's waiting for the boogeyman to jump out at us. There's no one else here, I tell him. My coworkers have gone for the day. I motion for him to sit in the chair across from my desk, but he remains where he is, standing guard by the door. I put the flash drive into my computer, and after a few seconds, a video file loads. That's odd. I don't think I've ever received a video from a client. Before Van can stop me, I click play and immediately scream in horror at the silent images flickering across my computer screen. Van runs to my side and looks at the screen to see the video of me leaning back in my chair, in the same clothes I'm currently wearing. The footage ends a few seconds before I heard the noise that made me stop. It's obviously a video taken of me just a few minutes ago. He must have been right outside. The orientation of the video appears to be the lamp on the credenza by the door in my office. Van inspects the lamp and finds a hidden camera taped to the side of it, barely visible. He rips it off, throws it to the floor and stomps on it, breaking it into a million pieces. Why would someone spy on me? I pause for a moment as the room spins. I feel sick. Somehow Van is beside me again, which turns out to be a good thing. His worried eyes are the last thing I see as I faint in his arms.
Chapter 4. Van. She moans softly as she wakes, and I rush to her side, grabbing her hand. You're all right, Evie. Open your eyes slowly. Stay calm. No one is going to hurt you. She does the opposite, and I'm surprisingly turned on by it. Her eyes fly open and she bolts upright. She sits up too quickly because she winces and grabs her head. Oh, my head is killing me. I fight the urge to roll my eyes. Yep, this one's going to be a pain in my rear. But she's the sexiest woman I've ever seen, so I'll deal with it if I want to make her mine. A look of horror crosses her face, and she puts her hand over her mouth to cover her sob. Oh no. The video. Don't worry. I have it right here, I say, opening her palm and gently placing the flash drive in her hand before closing her fingers around it. Where are we? She asks. My office at the gym, I tell her. I have people in your office right now doing a sweep to make sure there aren't any more cameras or devices. A shadow darkens her face, and I rush to reassure her. Don't worry. Your coworkers will never know they've been there. My guys are discreet. She shakes her head. I don't understand. Who would spy on me and why? I think it was a message for me. I turn my back on her because I don't want to see the look of anger or disappointment I know is coming. A message for you? Van, who are you? What's going on here? I turn to face her, and to my surprise, I see none of the emotions I expected. All I see are confusion and concern. I suppose I do owe you an explanation. Just promise me you'll hear me out. She nods, so I take a deep breath and start talking. My brother and I started this fitness center as a legitimate business to hide our actual activities. Oh no, she exclaims. You're drug dealers? I chuckle, shaking my head. No, Evie. It's nothing like that. We started the gym so we would have a place to hide people who need our help. Her brow wrinkles. What kind of people? Women mostly, escaping from abusive relationships. They come to us for help, and we hide them here until we find them a safe place. Sometimes they need a place to spend a few nights. Other times, they need new identities. And sometimes, they need us to confront their abusers. They almost always need food, money, and clothes. We take care of all that for them. Unbelievable. That's amazing. They stay here. In the gym? She looks around as if she's going to see battered women milling about. I can't go into all that, honey. It's kind of top secret. You understand, right? Yes, I can understand that part. But I still don't know what all that has to do with me. There's no way for me to save face. I have to tell her everything. It's my fault. The guy who sent the message has been trying to stop what we do here. He's an old army buddy of mine who turned into an enemy. His name is Charlie Marker. He came after you because he's clearly been watching me. Let me explain before you react to the next part. He's been watching me watch you. He knows I wait for your car to leave the parking lot before I go home. I've followed you to see you safely home. And that means that he knows where you live. I've put you in danger, Evie. I'm so sorry. He must know I want to claim you. Claim me? What the hell do you mean you want to claim me? Her voice grows louder. I wince. I knew that would piss her off. Declare you're mine so no other man, either within the club or not, will ever touch you again. And exactly how do you do that? Do you plan to brand me or something? What the hell is the club? Am I supposed to know what you're talking about? She snarls, her face close to mine. No one ever gets in my face and yells at me. I stare at her, unable to decide if I want to rip off her head or her clothes. Probably both. Through gritted teeth I answer, I make love to you. I give you the best sex you've ever had. And then you're mine. No one ever touches you again. It'll be mind-blowing and will spoil you for other men. Just like you'll spoil me for other women. We'll only want each other for the rest of your life. She's trembling, and I can't tell if it's from terror or because she's as turned on as I am. Maybe both. Her mouth opens and closes twice, but nothing comes out. She continues to stare at me. There's a knock on my door before it opens, and Vin peeks his head in the crack. Van? I'm calling a meeting. Right now, he says and shuts the door behind him. Evie and I continue to stare at each other. She's no longer trembling, but I can see she's still furious. Stay here, I order, storming out of the room.
Chapter 5. Evie. Of all the twisted, psychotic crap I've heard in my life, is this guy for real? When I get really angry, I talk to myself. And yeah, I'm there. I pace around the room, muttering. Does he honestly think I'm hopping into bed with him so he can claim me? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't care how hot he is, I will not let him own me. Who does he think he is? He can go straight to hell. I know I should leave and go home. I'll be damned if he's going to keep me here against my will, but I'm concerned about what might happen next. If the guy who took the video knows about me, am I safe anywhere? And since Van the genius followed me home, I'm not likely safe there. I know Van is trying to protect me. He's infuriating, but I sense he won't let anyone hurt me. But what's with all the claiming business? A shudder runs through me, making me wonder if I would like it. I'm sure I'd like the sex, but do I want to be claimed? How does that even work? The door opens, revealing a pretty brunette carrying a change of clothes. "Hi," she says, a big smile on her face. "My name is Erin. I'm Tommy's wife. You're Evie, right?" "Yeah, nice to meet you. Where's Van?" "All the guys are still in their meeting. But I brought you these." She holds up the clothes before handing them to me, her smile growing even brighter. "I thought you'd be more comfortable if you got out of those work clothes. I figured you were close to my size." "Thank you, Erin. That's very thoughtful, but I don't intend to stay much longer. I just want to talk to Van and go home." "Oh, honey," she says in a sympathetic tone. "It isn't safe for you to go anywhere. And Van certainly won't let you leave by yourself. Not with crazy Charlie Marker messing with you. I think it's best if you wait here until the guys figure out what to do." "How long is that going to take?" I ask, trying not to sound rude. "They should be done in an hour or so. Listen, there's a private bathroom down the hall. Why don't you take a shower and relax for a little while? You must be starving. I'll get us some food, and when you get out of the shower, we can talk and get to know one another." She's so sweet. I'd be a jerk to refuse, so I don't. "Thank you. Sounds nice?" "Hey, don't worry. You're one of us now. I'll be back soon." She's gone before I have time to ask her what "one of us" means. 45 minutes later, Erin and I are eating pasta and laughing like we've known each other for years. She was right about the shower and change of clothes. I do feel much better. I'm irritated at Van for disappearing on me, but Erin assured me he would be back. "Do you want another glass of wine, Evie?" She refills her glass for the third time. "Yes, please. It's a good thing you brought 2 bottles. We sure can put it away, can't we?" That's one perk of being a club woman. We pretty much get anything we want, anytime we want. And right now I want wine. She laughs as she tops off my glass. So anyway, as I was saying, the gym is called Double Down because of girls like you and me. Most of the guys like their women with a bit of extra, if you know what I mean. Vin especially likes girls with larger bra sizes, so he thought it would be funny to call it Double Down, as in DD, in honor of us bigger girls. Erin tells me more stories about past missions and all the women and families they've helped over the years. I yawn as she clears away the dishes and places them back onto the tray. "I'm going to let you get some rest now, Evie." I put my card on the bedside table. "My cell phone number is on the back. Use it if you want to talk. May I ask you a question before you go?" She nods, taking one last sip of her wine and placing the glass on the tray next to the dishes. I don't wait for verbal confirmation. "What did you mean when you said I'm one of you now?" "Well, a club woman is really the backbone of the mission. We offer support and help where we're needed. We're a well-oiled machine, and we each play our part. And it's not as misogynistic as it sounds, the guys support us too. Our guys are alpha men, but they're not jerks, well, most of them aren't anyway. A few women actively take part in the missions." "Have you?" "God, no. But only because I don't have the training. Everyone who goes on a mission either has a military or law enforcement background, worked in security, or has some other type of combat training. We have a couple of former boxers and MMA fighters, and some are highly skilled in martial arts. They've trained for years. So it's not some good old boys club?" Erin shakes her head and smiles. "No. Definitely not. My role is one of support, but not because I'm just a woman. I'm a club woman." "And you think I'm a club woman too?" She takes my hand. "Oh, honey. You really don't know, do you?" When I shake my head, she continues, "I've known Van for a long time and he's dated a few girls, but I've never seen him so crazy in love with anyone. I've never seen him look at anyone the way he looks at you. In love? We just met. How can he be in love with me after a few hours? You don't believe in love at first sight? I give her a look that tells her how ridiculous I find the notion, and she giggles. Well, that's the way it happened with Tommy and me. We met at the grocery store 3 years ago, married 2 weeks later, and have been together ever since. It was pretty intense. I'm a club woman because a club man loves me, and the same thing is true for you. A cacophony of male voices suddenly erupts in the hallway. Tilting my head at the door, I ask, does that mean the guys are out of their meeting? Sounds that way. I'm going to find Tommy. It was lovely having dinner with you, Evie. And don't worry. Trust Van. He's one of the good guys. I sit in silence, thinking about everything Erin told me, missing her infectious laugh and sunny disposition. Thankfully, I'm not alone for long. A few minutes later, Van opens the door and steps inside.
Chapter 6. Van. I notice the empty wine bottles on the table, and I smile. Looks like you and Erin had an enjoyable time. We did. She's very sweet. She bends to scratch Blitzen behind his ears, and the dog nuzzles up to her. I've never seen him warm up to someone new so quickly. Normally, he takes a while to be comfortable with unfamiliar people touching him. She showered and changed clothes. I can smell the body wash and shampoo as I walk past her to my desk. I put my gym bag on the floor, hating that I'm going to have to tell her what's in it. I need to send a couple of emails and then I'll show you to your room, I tell her as I open my laptop. Now wait just a minute. What do you mean, my room? How long do you expect me to stay here? She jumps to her feet and instantly sways dizzily. Evie. I rush toward her, worried she's going to fall. Are you okay? She pushes my hands away. I'm fine. I had a little too much wine and stood up too fast. That's all. She regains her composure and she looks angry again. Seriously, Van. What is going on here? That's what we were discussing in our meeting. We have a room for you, and you'll stay here for as long as it takes for us to make sure you're safe. Fury fills her eyes. No. I will not. I have an apartment, a job. I have a life. You can't keep me from those things. That's kidnapping. I close my eyes, hoping to pull myself together. She's even sexier when she's angry. Evie, listen to me. You don't know this guy. He's bad. He's former special ops and he's dangerous. He knows where you work and he knows where you live. He's been inside your apartment. Fear replaces the fury in her eyes. How do you know? He left a message for me there. I pull the teddy bear from my gym bag. Holding it out to her, I ask, this isn't yours, is it? No. It was on your bed. Propped up on your pillow. She looks down but isn't fast enough to hide her tears. A sharp pain twists in my chest at her distress. The teddy bear is a message for me. It's a sick joke to him, and it has special meaning for me. It has to do with something that happened with one of the local kids in the village where we were stationed in Afghanistan. Maybe I'll tell you about it one day. She rolls her eyes sarcastically. What? You mean sharing secrets is part of claiming me? You're going to talk to me like a normal girlfriend? I'm shocked. You're so quiet and broody. I wasn't sure you knew how to have regular conversations. I already told you what I meant when I said I wanted to claim you, I say through gritted teeth. Yeah. I inhale and exhale deeply, trying to calm myself. Get your clothes and I'll take you to your room. I'll send my emails later. I open the door for her and she storms out, skidding to a halt when she sees Vin and some other club members outside the door. Some are snickering, having heard her screaming at me, but only the newest and dumbest members. The rest are straight-faced and avoid eye contact while they await Vin's instructions. Despite her embarrassment, she lifts her head high and gives me a haughty look. Lead on, Macduff. We enter the room that's been prepared for her, and it looks beautiful. The club women have thought of everything. They've placed fresh-cut flowers in the room, and I notice Aaron's special touch, a bottle of the same wine the two of them were drinking earlier. Evie puts her clothes on the bed and looks around. This is nice. I suppose it helps to have a nice room if I'm being detained. Come on, Evie, don't be like this. You're not being detained, I sigh. You're free to leave here anytime you want, but I'm going to come with you if you decide to leave. It's for your safety. The guy behind all this is bad news. You need to trust me. I step closer to her, hoping she can read the sincerity on my face. I want to trust you, she says softly. I think you're trying to help me, but how do I know you're not trying to get into my pants? That's not how I do things, Evie. Yes, I want you. I think you know that. But Marker is the one who got you involved in this. Not me. Let me get you out of this. Please. She's close enough I can read the fear in her eyes when I say his name. She gazes into my eyes, and I can tell she's considering her words. I was thinking about you. What? I was thinking about you when the video was recorded. The words are quiet, and her gaze drops to the floor. I want you as much as you want me. Look me in the eye and tell me that, I command softly, my hand gently lifting her chin so I can look at her. Large teardrops cling to her lashes before spilling down her cheeks. Her arms wrap around my shoulders, and she pulls me closer until our mouths are barely inches apart. Do you promise to take care of me? I promise, I whisper, licking my lips. She stands on her tiptoes and touches her lips to mine. The kiss is gentle at first but quickly grows hungry, ravenous. I'm about to pick her up and put her on the bed when my cell phone rings. Crap. I mutter between gritted teeth, frustrated. The timing couldn't possibly be worse. That's Vin's ringtone. He knows I'm with you, and would only call if it was important. By all means. She nods toward my phone, letting me know she isn't upset. What? I bark into the phone, louder than I intended. Yeah, I'm coming. I'll meet you outside. After the call, I return my attention to Evie. I need to go. I'm sorry. Vin said they know where Marker is. Stay here and try to get some sleep. Against every instinct in my body, I turn, leaving her standing alone in the room.
Chapter 7. Evie. My eyes pop open as I come awake instantly. I'm not sure how long I slept. It feels like hours. I need to find Van. I open the door and go down the long hallway toward the main room of the gym. Most of the lights are off, and it's eerily quiet. Has he left me here by myself? As I get closer to the main part of the gym floor, where the machines are, I hear movement and realize with relief I'm not alone in the building. My heart seizes when I take one last step and see Van working out by himself. I jump back quickly, hoping he doesn't notice me, but I stay where I can see him. I want to watch him. He's beautiful. He moves like a panther with muscles to match. He's shirtless, and his athletic shorts fit him perfectly. Sweat flies from his body as he flexes and contorts into incredible positions. I watch for a few more minutes as he increases the weight he's lifting. He must sense me watching him because he stops abruptly and spins around. Evie. He grabs a towel off the bench and wipes the sweat from his body. I thought you were asleep. I didn't wake you, did I? I step closer, my head spinning and my core aching. No, you didn't. It was so quiet back there, I thought you'd left me here alone. We closed the gym early tonight. We didn't get him, Evie. I'm sorry. Marker was gone by the time we got there. The rest of the club is out looking for him. I'm surprised you're not out there with them. I thought finding him was urgent. Shaking his head, he says, It is urgent, but my priority is to protect you. I should go back to my bedroom. I barely know Van. I should consider myself lucky. His brother called earlier and interrupted what had almost happened. Instead, I walk closer and take the towel from his hand. I dry his face and neck. I notice goosebumps covering his body, and I look into his eyes. They're filled with desire. I rub the towel over his shoulders, and a quiet groan escapes his throat. He swallows hard, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were sparks of electricity traveling between us. He pulls back as I move the towel further down his chest. What's wrong, Van? Don't you like this? You're a nice girl, Evie. But if you don't stop, I promise I will end up doing things to you that nice girls never dream of. A tiny frisson of fear runs through me, but it only excites me further as I lean closer to him. I am a nice girl, but I've not had nice thoughts lately. Why don't you show me what you have in mind? He grabs my shoulders and pushes me away. Before I protest what I assume is his rejection, his mouth crashes into mine. His lips are soft, much softer than I expected. He pulls my face away from his to ask, "Are you sure about this? If we keep going like this, there will be no turning back." I look him squarely in the eyes as I pull my top over my head. I want you to make love to me.
Chapter 8. Van. Being with Evie is everything I expected it would be. I pull her body closer and whisper, "You're mine now, Evie. I'm happy to be under your spell, baby. To be honest, I don't mind being claimed after all. In fact, I'd love for you to claim me again in a few minutes," she says with a wink before kissing me. "I loved you from the minute I saw you. But I needed you to make the first move. Now that you have, there's no stopping us from being together." What was all that about me having to give you permission out loud? Is that some kind of code of honor? Something like that. I've seen things, honey, things I wish I'd never seen. And I promised myself I'd never be the wrong kind of man. When Vin and I started the club, we deliberately chose men who honor women, who respect and cherish them. One way a man expresses that is to make sure his woman is completely comfortable. Smiling, she says, "It'll get old quickly if you ask me every single time, won't it?" I suppose it would. I don't know. I've never felt like this about anyone else before. I kiss her again, gently. "I won't ask you so explicitly every time, but I swear to you, what we do in bed will always be your decision." I hesitate, giving her a devious smile. "Although, I have a feeling that with your personality, everything we do out of bed will probably be your decision too." She laughs, and I wonder if my heart will burst with joy. I hold her in my arms for a long time, both of us quiet, and I figure she's fallen asleep. I'm surprised when she speaks again. "What did you see, Van? What did you see that bothered you so much? Do you want to tell me about it?" "Maybe someday, baby," I say. "There's no need to go into all of that right now. I'm afraid she'll learn soon enough what our club is all about." Epilogue. 6 months later. Van. My dad used to say I would know I was in love when I was lying in bed next to my pregnant sleeping wife, with saliva running out of her open mouth as she snores, and my only thought was, "She's the most beautiful woman in the world." Well, Dad was right. Although, confession time. I loved Evie from the moment I saw her. I still don't know what she sees in me, but whatever it is, I'm eternally grateful. Her snoring wakes her, and I stifle a laugh as she looks around with an embarrassed expression, clearly hoping I hadn't noticed. I pretend not to. "Good morning, baby. How did you sleep?" I ask, pulling her closer. It was touch and go there for a while. She reaches for my hand and places it gently on her swollen belly. This little nugget was up all night doing jumping jacks on my bladder. Speaking of, she quickly jumps out of bed and runs to the bathroom. Blitzen is at my feet the minute they hit the floor. "Evie, while you're in there, I'm going to take the big nugget here for a walk. Take your time, honey, and I'll make breakfast when I get back." I hear her call, "Thanks, babe." I bound downstairs, Blitzen at my heels, and grab his leash and my phone from the foyer table. He's so excited, he nearly drags me outside as soon as I open the door. I text Vin during our walk to tell him neither of us will be at the gym for a couple of hours, because I plan to spend the morning with my gorgeous wife. Since Evie quit her job and became the accountant for the Double Down, the gym has been much better off financially than when Vin took care of everything. We're helping more women than I ever dreamed possible. We still haven't found Charlie Marker, but I know he's out there. Waiting. Watching. Well, so am I. And I'm a patient man. I hear the notification that Vin responded as I get back to the house, but don't bother checking it. I'm going to spend some quality time with my wife. Everything else can wait. I'm cutting up some fruit when Evie comes into the kitchen, her long, wet hair flowing down her back. She reaches across me to grab a strawberry, and I inhale her fresh, clean scent. My head spins when she smiles at me, and she immediately knows what I'm thinking. You know, she says, I can work from home today if you'd like to skip breakfast and go straight for dessert. She smiles and opens her robe slightly. I'm sleeping with the boss's little brother, so I'm sure it will be fine. But you just got out of the shower, I argue jokingly. She takes my hand and leads me upstairs. Who cares? I can take another one. I had no idea my life could ever be this good. The end.